Right, so to put the bearing race for the forward gear, I had to build myself a little bit of a tool, and that's going to sit down in there, but I gotta somehow drive it in. So I had an old bearing, not sure what you call it, but I'm going to put that in there, and then I'll drive it in with this, with a socket, and we'll see how that goes. Now, after pulling that bearing race, what you want to do is this sits right behind it. So before you put it back in and drive it back in, make sure you're putting this in first, then the bearing race, and then just drive it back in. So what I did was I put that bearing race down in there. I installed just make sure you don't put the inner part of that I think it's like a bearing driver. Then I installed the striking tool. Then I came in here, that way I'd have leverage, and then I struck it. It took a couple whacks, but just watch out, make sure you drive it in straight, and you should be good. Now, to install the shift mechanism from forward to reverse, you're going to be installing this all the way up in between there. So basically right in there. Sorry for the lighting. As you can see, it's just resting there. And then I'm going to install the rod. If you see it, should just slide right into there. There we go. And you can see how it just rests in there. That's it with that. I kind of want to go over where I'm at kind of so far. So, like I said, you put that slide hammer in there, you hook it on the inside, couple thrusts, it comes out. Here for reassembly, remember, A is the shim, and then B should be the race. Yes, so remember the shim, then the race, and then you can use pretty much any tool to drive it back in. I don't have this tool, so I improvised. This is going to be for the shift. That shifter that I just installed, remember, goes up, and then you're basically putting the rod back in there. And then I will continue to this part next, and then the install there. Alright, when we did the bearing, how I was explaining that they said to drive it out with a punch. So that's supposed to be the punch. That is the tool that we use to separate it. And This is how it's supposed to look before, which I'll go over that installation when I get to it. Alright, back at the shop with the press. When I press this on, I'm going to want to use like a 2x4 so that way I'm not putting any direct pressure on the gear itself. I'm then going to use a little bit of lubrication, a little bit of oil on the inside, and then I want to make sure that I'm going to press on the inside here of this bearing, which ends up being a 36 millimeter, and it actually fits perfectly on there. Alright, time to take it to the press. Alright, right here at the press, I'm going to actually just coat my finger here with a little bit of gear oil. Just get a little bit of oil here. And then I'm going to fit the bearing on. Okay, let me get that set up. Make sure you get it on as straight as possible. Should be mated right there. Alright, retracted it. Removing that. Now we're just going to look down in it, make sure we're all good. A little bit of a lip, but we know that it's mated down at the bottom there. No gaps. This next one we have the needle bearing, which is going to sit inside of there. Remember there's a lip down there that it has to press up against. I'm going to put a little bit of gear oil on it, and then a little bit of gear oil on the bearing on the outside of it. Don't have to worry about the inside. Alright, get it all set up to be pressed in. There's two sizes that I'm kind of working with here. One is going to be a 24 millimeter, so I'm going to try that, but it pretty much sits, feels like it's the exact same size. And then I'll probably finish it off with a 21 millimeter. 21. As we can see, it's just a tiny bit less. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, I think I got it as close as possible. Let's give a little bit of press. Oh, sliding right in. Alright, I'm probably going to back this out and then finish it off with the 21. Alright, let me get that lined up. Alright, there's the 21 on there. We can see it's just a little bit smaller. Back it out and check it. Alright, so I backed it out. Looks pretty well seated in here. I'm going to check the front side of it. And that looks pretty close to factory. Looks like it's seated up against that little lip right there on the inside. The reason why we're using the block is you can see the indentations. We don't want to put that on that steel, probably ruin the teeth. So there you have it. That's how you press in the new forward bearing. Hope you guys enjoy. Hit a like or subscribe. Thanks.